welcome again to the A2O section's rapid fire interviews. For those of you who are watching this for the first time, we've got some other episodes already on our Asia, Africa, Oceania section page, Facebook page. So please check it out. Basically, the rapid fire interviews are me asking our invited guests a series of short questions, quick answers, basically for you to get to know them better. These are all well-known personalities in our dog world. And so at this time where most of us are stuck in lockdown or some sort of restricted movement because of the coronavirus, I just want to do something fun to get to know each other better, to connect with one another, and to basically, you know, get a bit of goss and find out, pick their brains, get some ideas. So my guest today is Lois Wilson from South Africa. So hi Lois, how are you?
Hi, doing well. I'm now living in England though.
I was going to say, we have to tell the truth that you're actually in England. You're South African. But yeah, I think everyone will, you know, when we say the name, they associate South Africa. So, but yes, you're in England, which is, we won't go into that because that's another episode.
That it is.
Are you well? Doing good?
I'm doing well, loving being here and in the countryside and allowed to go for walks around the countryside.
You are blessed. We are not allowed. We've unfortunately been really in lockdown, so we can't. But all right, I'll get started and let's get moving. So, what is your favorite type of food?
Seafood.
Seafood. Okay. Any particular cuisine of seafood, like Asian?
Crayfish.
Sorry?
Crayfish. Crayfish.
Crayfish. Perfect. And your favorite tipple?
Brandy and Coke.
Brandy and Coke. I've never tried brandy and Coke. I've had brandy and, okay, never mind. It's not about me. Obviously, you just mentioned you're living in the UK, but if there is anywhere in the world you could live, would the UK still be your choice, or, you know?
I would actually like to go and live in America, but Central America, I've always had a nice experience there.
Right. Excellent. Excellent. Favorite book, Lois?
Believe it or not, the Book of Breed Standards. I know that's boring, but
I have no comment. If you could be an animal besides a dog, what would it be and why?
a giraffe, because then you can see over everyone.
Good answer. I like that. How do you tell someone politely that they have bad breath?
Suggest that they go and brush their teeth.
Okay. That's rather direct. What is your favorite cartoon character and why?
Favorite cartoon character? Oh, Daffy Duck, because he's so nice with that little wiggly tail.
Okay. What breed of dog best describes you and why?
I think my present breed, the Shiba, does, because while they look quite humble and not really anything that people can be fearful for, they have a very strong personality, and I think that describes me.
And can you give me, I mean, you've been judging for a long while, can you name a dog that sticks in your mind that impressed you the most, that you have judged? It doesn't have to be a breed, any breed.
Oh, yes. I had a lovely smooth Chihuahua in Adelaide last year at the Royal.
I know the dog.
And it was beautiful. The whole package was fantastic. The attitude, the personality, the balance, and it was really a good showman and a good example.
Yes, I know the dog. I've actually judged him, and I totally agree with you. Okay, what FCI grading would you give Audrey Hepburn?
Oh, an excellent.
What about Meryl Streep?
Also an excellent.
And who gets the cusp?
Out of those two, Meryl Streep.
Okay. Any reason why?
I think she is not just looks, it's also the way she acts in different roles.
Okay.
Audrey Hepburn is more one particular role, whereas the other one isn't.
Okay. Is there such a thing as objective beauty?
I think there is. I think there is. But it's difficult to define in words.
Okay, I know exactly what you mean. If you could be any flavor of ice cream, what flavor and why?
Chocolate, because that's the only flavor there should be.
Okay. What was the best advice you were given as an exhibitor? Because you obviously did exhibit dogs before. So what was the best advice you were given as an exhibitor?
The best advice was to read the breed standard and learn the breed standard of the dog, the breed you were going to handle, so that you could know what the faults were and then try and hide it from the judge.
Okay. And what about as a breeder?
As a breeder, again, I think it is important to know the breed standard. You cannot be kennel blind, though, and you have to realize that some dogs are good in the show ring and others are good to breed with, and they're not necessarily the same dog.
And what about that advice as a judge?
As a judge, I like to see dogs that do correspond with the breed standard. As if I look at the breed, I want to recognize it as that breed. If I look at a dog and think, is that a Siberian or is it an Alaskan Malamute? There's a problem.
Okay, but sorry, just to rephrase it, what was the best advice you were given when you started judging?
When I started judging was to find a mentor and to listen to the old timers because they knew a lot.
Yes, and I believe mentorship as well as an exhibitor and a breeder is so important, not just as a judge, but
I think yes, I think it is.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of youngsters or younger people these days are getting their mentorship from the computer, and it's not the same as hands-on. And also learn to read pedigrees. You'll be amazed at how many people these days do not know the dogs in their own dog's pedigree.
Yes, agreed. Okay, moving along. Are you a morning person or a night person?
Morning.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
No, I better not, because other people will not agree with it. No, quite brotherly, but quite
let me phrase that,
dogmatic.
Let me phrase that then. 3 things that you'd like to change about yourself.
I'd like to lose weight, lots of it, please. Me too. And I'd like to be younger again with the knowledge that I have now.
Okay, that's an interesting thing. Younger again with the knowledge in which in life in general, or are you talking about in the dog world?
Both.
Okay, so what would you do differently with the knowledge you have now if you were 40 years younger or 30 years younger?
Well, I wouldn't have married my ex, for starters. I have 2 lovely children by him, but that I wouldn't have done.
Okay. Or in the dog world, how would you do things differently with the knowledge?
I don't think I'd do anything differently in the dog world. I've had a marvelous life within the dog world, and it's been really great.
Okay, excellent. What's the strangest thing you've ever eaten?
I think abalone. I had that once, and don't need to get it again. It was nice to say I've eaten it, but no, thank you, not again.
Okay. Siblings? Have you got any siblings?
No, I'm an only child.
Ah, okay. See, I didn't know that about you. What's the funniest thing that's happened in your show ring? Whilst you were judging, can you remember any sort of stories or something that was funny?
Well, I had one lady whose little Pomeranian wouldn't move. So she went backwards, and there I'm telling her to stop, and she didn't, and she fell arse over, what, out of the ring. And funny enough, the dog came running to her then.
Are point scores and top dog competitions the death of the dog world? And are they
Yes.
encouraging a new form of competition?
They are, in my opinion, yes, they are. And yes, they are forming a new type of competition where people only want to win. And I think it's a difference. Breeders want to breed better dogs, and it takes time, at least 3 to 5 generations, to establish what you are looking for, whereas other people just want to buy the dog that will win them best in show.
Absolutely.
It's two different people.
Yes, and I think that goes to maybe the psyche these days, that there are more exhibitors rather than breeders. And so it's not about the next generation that they're interested in. It's about, what they can post. So I
think what they can win, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that fits in with what, fits in what they want, or their objective. So I suppose that...
And maybe it's because the younger generation expect things a lot quicker than what the older generation did. Yeah. So they want their dogs to win immediately, whereas as a breeder with a new person, I was happy if they had a young dog that won, whereas I wanted the dog that lasted longer.
Yeah, absolutely. When you were showing, did you have any weird dog show superstitions? A lucky hat?
No.
Okay.
No, funny enough, not.
Okay, I've had some interesting ones. You'll have to watch the episodes to find out.
Okay.
What makes you happy?
Seeing other people happy.
Okay.
I am a pleaser, so I like to see other people happy.
And what makes you sad?
The world at the moment.
Okay.
Bringing it up to COVID-19 and what we're all going through makes me sad. But at the same time, it has brought us together as families, in that we seem to appreciate our members of family much more.
Agreed. And how long does it take you to get ready of a morning?
What, now or
Yeah.
at shows?
Are you a person?
Oh, now it's 15 minutes. At shows, you've got to sort out what you're going to wear, how the hair looks, and put the lipstick on.
So are you always on time or always late?
No, I'm on time.
Okay.
My father taught me always be on time, or at least 2 minutes early.
I think our fathers related. Climb a mountain or jump from a plane?
Jump from a plane.
No, jump from a plane, not on a plane. Jump out.
No, jump from a plane. No, I'd rather jump from a plane.
Okay, me too. Would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or be able to talk to animals?
Talk to animals. Everybody speaks English, for goodness sake.
or there's Google Translate. What's the thing you're most afraid of?
I haven't thought of that one. I think I'm most afraid of snakes and chojos, as we call them in South Africa, all those little bugs.
Okay. Breeders or exhibitors? Breeders and exhibitors or judges, who influences the breed more?
Sorry, who influences the breed more?
Yes. I class breeders and exhibitors as one, and then judges. So who influences the breed more?
Judges, because the breeders and the exhibitors take what they say seriously, and that's why as judges we must take the job we do seriously too.
Agreed. We've talked about mentorship and we both agree that it's important. Did you have a nickname your parents used to call you?
No, because it's a short name anyway. That's why they did it. And I don't have a middle name either, so can't use that.
What's one superpower you'd like to have?
Being able to predict the lotto numbers.
Mystic Meg, yep. 3 people, dead or alive, that you'd want to be stuck with on an island.
Unfortunately, one of them has just passed away, and that was Di Johnson. I think she would be very interesting to be with, entertaining as well as knowledgeable. And then an person that influenced me as a youngster growing up in Rhodesia was Ian Douglas Smith, who was the then Prime Minister. That would be interesting. And then the third one, I think I would like to do it with my father, who, while we had a good relationship, with the knowledge I've got now, it would be nice to sit there and chat about various things.
Okay. And 3 things you take with you on that desert island, if you're allowed 3 things.
Oh, definitely a bottle of bubbly. So there would be champagne. There would be clothes as an extra change of clothes, and probably a toilet roll, because I don't do this whole countryside thing.
Good one. Good one. Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Pierce Brosnan, and Daniel Craig. Who are your best in show 1 to 3?
Sean Connery, Roger Moore, and I don't care about the 3rd and 4th.
I would totally agree with you. Everyone seems to have dumped Roger Moore. I don't know why. I like Roger Moore. If you could travel back in time, what period would you go to and why?
I think I'd like to go back to probably the pre-war, the turn of the 19th century, when there wasn't all this hatred and killing.
Okay. And gold or silver?
Gold.
Gold or diamond?
Definitely gold. Gold is good.
Gold or diamonds?
Oh, that's a difficult one. Girl's best friend is diamonds, but I'll take both.
I like that answer, because that would be mine. So are you a dancer or a singer, or both?
Neither. Oh, you don't want to hear me sing. Dancing I can get away with, but not singing.
Okay. What global issues move you the most? Besides what we're currently in, what global issues move you the most?
I think it's the wars that seem to move from one area to the other. When people are peaceful in one area, suddenly there's another war that starts in another area. Right. And that's the main thing, is there seems to always be some wars going on.
Okay. What's your biggest pet peeve with exhibitors whilst judging?
Feeding, as you're about to look at their mouths. I can understand bait. I use a dog that has bait, but please do not put that food into the mouth as you're about to look inside the mouth, whether you're touching the mouth or they're showing teeth.
Agreed.
Sorry, another one to add to that also is exhibitors moving their dogs too fast. That's the second is in there. Sorry, I have to add that one.
Moving their dogs at the incorrect speed.
Yes.
Generic show dogs. What fashion trend did you just not get?
Most of it, actually. I don't mind the colored hair. I wish I had the body that could get away with most of the clothes that are there. So maybe it's a jealousy thing. So
Winnie the Pooh or Tintin?
Winnie the Pooh.
Dog magazines, in print or online?
In print. I've just changed. Here we go. Here we go. I don't know if you can see.
Yes.
I did start. I thought I would be very clever when I moved to England and do online. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And I swapped over, and our dogs were very good and swapped my subscription over. I had to pay a little bit more, but I was thankful that I can have it in my hands and I can read.
Well, I suppose postage and all that. Did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
No, not one episode.
Harry Potter. Were you a Harry Potter fan?
I'm not a fan, but I did watch some of those.
Okay, and who was your favorite character?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not that good on movies. Most of the time it's spent watching them on airplanes as you're flying long distance.
So talking of that, of movies, what's your favorite movie then?
I know this is going to sound really cheesy, but I like Mary Poppins because there was a good outcome in the end.
The original one?
I don't mind whichever one.
Okay.
It's got the same ending, and I just like good.
Okay. Who's one person that cheers you up?
One person that cheers me up, Gopi. We seem to have the same trend of thought, and he's always happy and cheerful. You are, Gopi.
Thank you. Thank you. Recurring nightmares?
Recurring nightmare. I don't think I have recurring nightmares. I think traveling from South Africa to England, the nightmare was trying to get my dogs into the country, but I've managed that, so it's gone.
I mean, just to share with you, always have recurring nightmares of I'm not packed yet for my flight, or I'm at an exam and I haven't got, my pens don't work or something like that. I'm not prepared. Yeah.
I would say I sometimes figure that paper is going to engulf me because I am a lover of everything in paper. So maybe paper engulfing me.
Okay. Who was your first celebrity crush?
Sean Connery.
Okay, there you go. And favorite childhood TV show?
Jack and Jill, the Flower Pot Men. I think it was Jack and Jill, the Flower Pot Men.
I think so.
Yeah. As a child, that's what I remember watching.
Okay. Online dog shows, yes or no?
Yes, I think it has a place. And what we must realize is it doesn't always have to be registered judges that can judge. I've seen a few recently where they've had handlers. Yeah. And that is also interesting. I think they should also bring in maybe some photographers doing some judging, yeah, because they're the people that know all about the pictures and it's a different side to it. Yeah. I don't think that you should go into making up CC winners, CASIB winners and champions and all of that. Yeah. But I do think that it has a place.
Yeah, agreed. What do you think dog shows back to usual will look like post-COVID?
I have been thinking about that. I think it's going to be different to what we have done. And I think a lot of people are going to have to teach their dogs to get used to people with masks on for the time being. And I really don't want to come up against the Rottweiler and the German Shepherd that hasn't been, because you may, in a big jacket because it's raining, look like that ugly man that they should be attacking. So I think people have to learn to keep distances, yeah, for their own good and the health of everyone.
Okay. And how soon do you think, I mean, I know different countries, different procedures, but personally, what do you feel? How soon do you think before we go back to having dog shows?
Realistically, I think that the World Dog Show in Spain may take part, because I think I'm always hopeful, and I hope that by December we should be able to go. But I think that the participation of spectators may be in question, because there will be a lot of people there. And I don't know if they're going to allow spectators in. I know that's a lot of income for the shows, but I think that along with the people that are actually vendors, as I know that they make a lot of money from there, but it may be in limited time, like we do at the shops now. We all queue 2 meters apart. So I would hope for the World Dog Show in Spain in December.
I mean, let's talk about South Africa for a minute. You know, this lockdown and everything is going to affect a lot of economies. And obviously with people losing jobs and, you know, things like that. it will affect the dog world. Do you think it'll affect South Africans in a big way? I mean, were you guys pre-COVID, were things on a high, or were things plateauing, or what was the situation like then?
The numbers had been falling for a year, like I think it had been all over the world. I do think that in South Africa, they are from today allowed back at work in a lot more of the jobs than other countries. But I think people are not going to be earning those bigger salaries. And in all honesty, our sport, our hobby of dogs is an extra. It's not your basic food necessity.
Yeah.
I don't see dog shows going on there until also maybe November. There is a circuit of shows there. But again, it depends on airlines being able to fly not only judges in from overseas,
yeah,
but also locally.
Right, because you are such a spread out country that, you know, driving from one place to the other is virtually impossible. Well, not impossible.
Well,
difficult.
Yes, for judges to ask them to drive, and at the moment there's a limit on you can't drive from one province to the other. Yeah. But to ask them to drive would be too much. Yeah. And how are you going to have social distancing in aeroplanes? You know, in a 3-4-3 situation, you're going to have 1, 2, and 1. And then what are the costs going to be?
Yeah. Very, very interesting. Okay. Do you believe in fate?
Yes.
You do?
I do.
Okay. Are you a gym bunny or a couch potato?
Oh, couch potato. Look at me. Hello.
What chore do you hate doing?
Washing windows.
Washing windows.
I hate washing windows.
Okay. Just wrapping it up. What is one sentence you'd like to see in your obituary about your time in the dog world, or about you as a dog person?
Helped others. Just plain simple 2 words, helped others. Excellent. Because I think it's important in this world to help others.
Absolutely right. I agree. Lois, thank you so much. It's been fun. I've enjoyed getting to know you a bit better, and I hope our viewers also, and I hope you've enjoyed it. So thank you so much again. Stay safe and enjoy the new life in the UK.
Thank you. And everybody watching, stay safe. Please, we need you around. We've enjoyed having you around in previous times. Be safe. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless.